Have you ever noticed how she seems to be everywhere you look, but somehow never close enough to touch? She watches your stories within minutes, likes your posts from months ago, and somehow always knows what's happening in your life. Yet when you reach out, there's this invisible wall between you two. She's present, but distant, interested, but unavailable, connected, but completely out of reach. If you're wondering why she's watching you silently, but won't make the first move, you're not alone. This pattern plays out millions of times every day, and it's driving people crazy trying to decode what it all means. The truth is, her silence isn't indifference. It's actually the opposite. When someone watches you consistently but doesn't reach out, they're caught in an emotional paradox that's both fascinating and heartbreaking. Think about it. Real indifference looks like complete absence. If she truly didn't care, she wouldn't be watching at all. She wouldn't remember details about your life, wouldn't notice when you post something new, wouldn't keep tabs on your daily routine. Indifference is invisible. What you're experiencing is something much more complex. She's watching because she cares, but she's not reaching out because caring isn't always enough to overcome the barriers we build in our minds. The first barrier is fear of vulnerability. Every time she considers sending that message, her mind floods with questions. What if you don't respond the way she hopes? What if she misread the situation? What if opening that door leads to rejection or awkwardness? For many people, watching from a distance feels safe. It allows them to maintain connection without risking the pain of direct rejection. She can care about you, stay updated on your life, and feel emotionally involved without having to face the uncertainty of your response. But there's something deeper happening here. She might be protecting herself from a truth she's not ready to confront. Maybe she recognizes that reaching out would mean admitting feelings she's not prepared to handle. Maybe she knows that once she crosses that line, there's no going back to the comfortable distance she's maintained. The second reason she stays silent is the weight of expectation. In her mind, that first message carries enormous significance. It's not just a casual hello, it's a statement. It's her saying that you matter enough for her to overcome her natural hesitation and make herself vulnerable. She might have started typing messages to you dozens of times, crafting the perfect words, then deleting them because they don't capture exactly what she wants to say. The pressure to be interesting, authentic, and engaging all at once can be paralyzing. Here's what's really happening in her mind. She's created a story about what that interaction needs to be, and reality feels like it can't possibly live up to the fantasy. So instead of risking disappointment, she chooses the safety of distance. The third barrier is social conditioning. Despite all our progress, many people still carry unconscious beliefs about who should initiate contact. She might believe that reaching out first makes her appear too eager, too available, or too forward. These aren't necessarily her conscious thoughts, but they're cultural messages that run deep. She's been taught to be pursued rather than to pursue, to be chosen rather than to choose. Even if she intellectually rejects these ideas, they can still influence her behavior on an emotional level. But here's where it gets complicated. Her watching you isn't passive. It's an active choice that requires effort and attention. She's choosing to stay connected to your life in the only way that feels safe to her right now. Think about what this means. She's prioritizing you in her daily routine. When she opens social media, you're one of the first people she checks on. When she's scrolling through her feed, she stops at your content. When she's going through her day, part of her mind is wondering what you're up to. This isn't casual interest. This is someone who has made you a significant part of her mental and emotional landscape, even if she can't express it directly. The fourth reason for her silence might be the most important one. She's waiting for a sign from you that it's safe to be vulnerable. She's watching, not just to stay connected, but to gauge whether you're interested in deeper connection too. Every post you make, every story you share, every glimpse into your life becomes data she's collecting to understand how you feel about her. She's looking for clues that you think about her too, that you'd welcome her reaching out, that you're not completely indifferent to her existence. But here's the tragic irony. While she's waiting for signs from you, you might be waiting for signs from her. Both of you are watching, both of you are hoping, both of you are too afraid to make the first move. This creates a stalemate where two people who clearly care about each other remain trapped in a cycle of silent observation and missed connections. So what can you do about this? First, understand that her watching you is actually a form of communication. She's telling you that you matter to her, that she thinks about you, that she wants to be part of your life in whatever way feels safe. If you want to break this cycle, you need to make the first move. Not because it's your responsibility, but because someone has to be brave enough to bridge the gap. Start small. Respond to her stories, comment on her posts, ask questions that show you notice the details of her life. Create opportunities for natural conversation without the pressure of deep emotional revelation. The goal isn't to force her into vulnerability, but to demonstrate that interaction with you is safe and welcome. Show her through your actions that reaching out to you won't result in rejection or judgment. Most importantly, be patient with the process. Someone who has been watching from a distance for a long time has developed that pattern for valid emotional reasons. Breaking free from that comfort zone takes time and trust. Remember that her silence doesn't mean she doesn't care. In fact, it often means the opposite. She cares so much that the thought of risking that connection feels terrifying. The beautiful thing about this situation is that you're not starting from nothing. She's already invested in your life, already paying attention, already emotionally connected. The foundation is there. What's missing is simply the courage to build on it. If she's watching you silently, she's probably hoping you'll be brave enough to reach out first. She's waiting for you to show her that it's safe to step out of the shadows and into the light of real connection. The question isn't whether she cares about you. Her consistent attention has already answered that. The question is whether you're willing to take the first step toward turning that silent connection into something real and meaningful. She's watching because she's hoping. Now it's up to you to decide whether you're brave enough to hope with her.